This story is somewhat personal to me, and that's actually because I see Peter Pans all the time in real life. What do I mean by that? Well, Peter Pan is a poetic tragedy. The main boy is a character who's competent, intelligent, and articulate. One who attracts the girls and wins the admiration of the other boys because he's brave and true. The problem is he's the king of Neverland and the leader of the band of lost boys. Wendy is actually a profound symbol in this story because she represents chaos. Order and chaos are represented in monomythic literature as male and female respectively, and that's something I'll get into in another video. But chaos is usually attracted to order. And Peter Pan is very orderly. He's organized his own gang of lost boys, he coordinates attacks, and he's the king of Neverland. And Wendy likes that about him for a time. In our last video, I talked about how Pinocchio became a real boy because he was willing to step outside of his father's home and confront things that were dangerous and challenging. Well, with Peter Pan, it's pretty much the exact opposite. Wendy wanted him to come with her into the real world, but because he couldn't get past his fear, he refused to.
How am I deficient?
You're just a boy.
He would rather live in Neverland and never be challenged than live in a world that he feels is out of his control. What's interesting is Peter Pan isn't rejecting Wendy, he's rejecting chaos, which is represented as female. It's also him rejecting the tragedy of growing up. He doesn't want to be an adult. Maybe part of that is because the only adult in his life, Hook, is a tyrant. He's accepted order to the extent that he hunts children, and Peter doesn't want to be like that when he grows up. And the other terrifying thing in this story is the dragon, or the crocodile, in this case that Hook fears to confront, which is a symbol of his own mortality. The crocodile already has gotten a taste for him, and he wants more. The clock in the crocodile's belly is representative of the fact that time is always ticking, and eventually, time will devour you. That's something Peter Pan and Captain Hook have in common. They're both running from immortality in different ways. Peter Pan is running from it because he doesn't want to grow up and be like Hook, and Hook is running from it because he wishes he could have more time. In a way, Hook would like to be Peter Pan, to have the potential to do whatever he'd like again, but he can't. But Peter just substitutes the real thing with something fake. Men who found their purpose for lost boys, escape for confrontation, and comfort rather than love. For all intents and purposes, referring back to Joseph Campbell's hero archetype, Peter Pan is a failed hero. And
Why do you spoil everything? We have fun, don't we? What more could there be?
There is so much more.
What? What else is there?
I think it becomes clearer when you grow up.
Well, I will not grow up. You cannot make me.
And the problem is that whether he decides to grow up or not, eventually he will have to. The reason I said that this story is personal for me is because I work in a homeless shelter. I see Peter Pans every day, and it's easy to do in our culture. You can be an idiot at 18. Many are idiots into college and even into early adulthood. Some abandon responsibility for comfort and pleasure and are adult infants literally their whole lives. One mistake a lot of people make about people who are drug addicts is that their addiction isn't a personal choice and it's beyond their control, and that if they had the power to change it, they would. I've learned from working in this sort of environment that what people are actually afraid of is the responsibility they will have to confront if they leave that lifestyle behind. If they leave, they have to face the real world and all the trouble and responsibility that comes with it. Many of them would rather be in Neverland forever. They'd rather be the leader of the band of lost boys and never have to grow up. The sad thing is that eventually the lost boys left Peter Pan to grow up, and life catches up with you, whether you decide to embrace it or not. The crocodile with the clock in its stomach will devour you one day. That can be terrifying if you cling to mortality and youth, but it can also set you free because it gives you permission to live your life and accept the risks that go with it. My challenge to you is to be a Wendy and not a Peter Pan. Thanks for checking in today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content. I'm Muslim Alaneezy. If you did, please do smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks. Have a great day.